Yeah.
Certainly tremendous and exciting at the clock, but if you don't defend properly, that's trouble. It doesn't matter whether you're a Marty Brodeur or a minor league goalie, you're going to get scored.
Well, the guy you're talking about, John Marino, I don't know why Philly let him go. Like, he just sums up what Bruce was talking about. Oh, my goodness. Like, he could make 80-foot pass tape to tape, but defensively. But he doesn't get beat in front. He doesn't get beat in the corners. I mean, he's got like a highest plus-minus on defense. And so that's one example. And Siegenthaler's just, you know, Bruce, like. Yeah. Yeah, and Graves is playing better. And then, you know, Vitek, we can't underestimate that he is in the middle of his career. He's 25. He's saying, I got a chance to be a number one on a really good team. I got to earn it. But, that guy battles. Oh, unfortunately, he got hurt. But that guy has been the difference in a bunch of games. So it's been a team victory in most of the victories, really.
Well, you love every goal.
I do, yes.
I'm kind of there too now, though.
Well, he put the pads on after he retired. He always wanted to be a goalie. Well, no, just.
We don't know the level. We know that Chico Resch is here. We got called up today. You got a Kirschman, you got Chico Resch. What are you saying to those fans who are looking at this and saying, oh no, not again?
Don't do it. I would say to them, don't think that.
You're more confident.
Well, because it's not the same team they're playing behind, like Bruce said. Marty Brodeur's a great goalie, but he played behind some pretty good defense. Our forwards back check. And if you just think of this, how many backdoor goals are we seeing now compared to a couple of years ago? That backdoor was just like had no hinges. It was just flying open. So they will play better because they are mature and they're getting a lot of help from both the forwards and D.
Yeah, I think the key is cutting down the high quality scoring chances, right? And like Chico and I already said twice here. It doesn't matter if you're the best goalie in the league or the worst goalie in the league. You're going to get scored on if you give up high quality chances, especially in today's game where the skill level so high, the passing is pinpoint right on the stick. And puck movement on the rush, and the team just score on the rush like crazy. So if you can defend properly, and that's the key, you can defend properly. It doesn't really matter. Your goaltending doesn't come into a factor. They just have to be good. Yeah. Not great, just good. And make the stops they're expected to make.
No, they got to be great. I'm kidding him. Because the other night, Akira Schmid, he gets thrown in, and it's going to be a 4-on-3 in overtime. Do you know how many goals are scored on the power play in overtime?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Remember, that kid made 2 unbelievable saves on Kachuk, turned the game around, and then we went down and scored. So it's like Bruce said, you don't need 10 or 15, high-quality saves, but you need 2 or 3 at the right moment, right? And that's what the Devils goalies are given as well.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. It's the key moments in the game to make that save. You ever talk to Wayne Gretzky? He talks about Grant Fuhr all the time, right? His goals against and save percentage is not very good, but back in the it was back. It was back when there was a ton of goals scored, but they won cups because when the game was on the line, he made the big saves. All-Star, Hall of Famer, well-deserved, great goaltender, right?
Yep.
But when he needed to make those saves in the game to win the game, he did it, right? And that's the key.
Hey, and I want to ask Bruce, because he was a captain. To me, I can't say there's been one superstar Devil that sticks out way above and beyond everyone, but Nico Hischier. You just tell me what you see. Well, he's more than that. I mean, he's bringing things that captains need to bring, and you just talk about him a little bit, Bruce.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a little bit of a growth period for him. Yes. Certainly this year, he's shown how he can play. Mm-hmm. Every single shift is the same.
Yep.
And that's the key. That's the key right now. I don't know how you feel about the last few games. I've seen a little bit of a slip. Not a lot, but just a tiny, tiny little bit of a slip defensively, where I think we can still get back to where we were playing in that stretch where it was a guarantee we were going to kind of win. Those close games, those little more difficult. The thing you see in Nico, I mean, you watch his ice time. It's just going up and
Yeah.
up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
You can't take him off the ice. As a coach, when the guy's playing as well as he's playing defensively, offensively, putting the puck in the net in key times, defending, blocking shots, making the right outlet pass, you're going to
Face
play
off.
that guy as much as you can.
Well, you think of the winning goal the other night.
Yeah.
He wins the draw, he goes to the net for the screen, and gets hit with the puck in the arm and scores a winning goal. And he scored another goal. He leads the team, 3-game winning goals, a couple of them recently. I'm just saying, to me, I've seen a lot of great captains, and I'm not saying he's the best, but they are so blessed to have Nico Hischier as their leader in that locker room.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Absolutely, Chico.
One question about that line. That line hasn't seemed to have fallen off since losing Jesper Bratt, who's leading the team in points, was phenomenal. But they replaced him with Zetterlund and Tatar's now, that line.
Yep.
And that line is still the best on the team. Like, undoubtedly. Nico Hischier's line is out there. They're scoring the most. They're stopping the most chances. They seem to be the best line on the team. Do you see like a change in mentality in Nico Hischier? Like, he's always been a guy who plays responsibly on both sides on the ice, tries to do as much as he can, but he's doing more than we thought possible this year. Do you see a difference in him?
Well, he's winning. They're winning, guy. You can't underestimate. Like, they don't sit around and think, I got to be confident. Oh, yeah, we got to build a confident culture. The only way you do that is by winning. And they're winning. And I don't know if they've been the best line. They've been one of them.
Yeah.
But the impact line, Wood, McLeod, and
line.
Bashan, I mean, they have been lights out. So, it's one seemingly, and you know that when you played with the Devils winning Cup. You don't rely on one line. If that line's not getting it done, then that line will get it done, and then that line. And so that depth to me is what's the key. But
Yeah, that's absolutely the key. You got 4 lines playing. Some nights the 4th line's playing more than the 3rd line, right? Right now that 4th line's playing better than the 3rd line. So
yes.
they're producing a little bit more, so I'd like to see that 3rd line getting going a little bit more. But you go back to the line structure. It's interesting how he set the lines up now, and it's all about chemistry. It's all about chemistry. You've got Zetterlund playing now with the guy who's known as a veteran player in Tatar, right? Been around, played well in every place he's played.
Yeah.
You've got him and Nico Hischier together in a line, and what? Take a look at your second line, right?
Yeah.
Who's your second line, right?
Jack Hughes and
Right.
Bratt, and
Right. So you've got 2 pretty solid lines where you're kind of putting the players together where you got a little bit of a younger player playing with some more veteran guys. You guys have been around a few years, and it's been successful lately.
Yeah, and you take the second line. If Haller were to score, he's had
Yeah.
35
That was
shots
what I was
on goal.
gonna ask.
The guy can't buy a goal. But is he a liability? No. That's what I'm saying.
Face-off wins.
Face-off
Face-off
wins.
wins,
But
skill and penalties.
but in terms of hockey, if you
Yeah.
want to be an in-depth fan, quit just looking at the stats.
Yeah.
It's not about that. You see Eric Haller, one-on-one battle. How come he gets the puck every time? If you don't notice that, you're not really understanding the game. You know what I mean? We just look at open ice play, and Eric Haller in traffic's been tremendous. He just needs a goal, though. Eh? Bruce,
And once he gets one, he's going to get a bunch, right?
I think
that's
so.
That's the way it works. I mean, there's another guy over
And
on
guys-
Long Island doing the same thing right now, Barzell.
Yeah.
oh,
right?
yeah, right.
I don't think he's
And he has a
scored.
ton of assists, but he's
Yeah.
But
And
the
guys,
reality
the,
is when you're playing really well and the coach knows what's expected of you, right? Coach is giving you the job assignment what to do. If you're consistent, you're going to play. That's the bottom
Absolutely.
line. It doesn't always have to be goal scoring. It can be defending. It could be special teams, killing penalties, and as Chico said, winning board battles. And he's done a great job of doing that, right?
And to
And I
go
think
off that
that's
point,
been relevant.
Yeah, just to go off
I was
that
gonna say, I
point,
think that's been relevant
the
with the-
advanced stats kind of show that Hollis line has been amazing. It has 63% of the chances. It has 70% of the quality chances with them on the ice against their opponents. So, I don't know how big into advanced stats you are, but when you compare the advanced stats and the eye test to the counting numbers, there seems to be a disconnect that he should be scoring more goals. That line should be scoring more goals. And when you put Hughes and Bratt together, I think that there's going to be magic involved with those two. Do you think that that's the best combination for Bratt? With how well he played with Hischier, do you think that him and Hughes are going to eventually just put together buco numbers. Do you think that's the right call there?
Well, I think they should just by their ability level alone. But when you start talking about analytics and stuff like that, I mean, in my mind, there's a place for analytics,
but the eye tests.
But the game is so fast. It's a reactionary sport. You can say that a certain player had so many scoring. The bottom line is win the game, right?
Right. Or what if that guy? What if that guy's not a natural goal scorer and he's getting the highest quality chances?
Right.
It means nothing
It doesn't.
because the goal scorer is scoring from bad angles, and the analytics are saying, low scoring chance. Not for him. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right.
So
the bottom line is winning the game and playing the game the right way, because the only way we're going to continue to play as well as we are is stay consistent. Not get too high, not get too low. I know the fans are excited. Chico's excited. I'm excited. The team's really doing well. But the key is, a month from now, are we going to be in the same position? Are we playing consistently, both with and without the puck? And if they do that, they're going to be there.
Well, we're averaging over 3.5 goals per game scored. It's you. We talked about it way back. If you consistently score over 3 goals and you give up 2 or less, you're going to win consistently in the National Hockey League. I don't need anything to tell me that except the history, and we're doing both.
Right.
So scoring will come if we stay consistent. And Jesper Bratt, he was on a roll. You've seen it. He can't keep up that pace.
Yeah.
He even said everything he was shooting was going in, and luck about hockey. So, but it doesn't matter if another line picks it up while he goes a little cold or whatever. That's okay, and then he'll pick it up again later, and the winning teams have that.
Scotty, I know Scotty's got a question.
Yeah, they got those fourth lines there, and I know they're called the BMW. I like to call them the Beef MW because they actually throw some beef out there on the ice and throw some hits. But Chico, you were talking about it. Not only the fancy scoring, but that fourth line, their cycles have just been amazing. Working the puck on the boards, that's where they've been creating all their chances off of, is that hard grinding work on there. And to have that fourth line to be able to wear some of these other teams down has to make just a world of difference on the ice.
Well, you're right. That's why I don't want to call them the BMW line. What's BMW stand for? A fancy car no, they are an impact line. You watch every single shift. They will win the board battles. They will forecheck and knock opponents off the puck in their own end. Look at how much Lindy Ruff puts them out there when either they've been scored on or they got to protect the lead. They make an impact every single shift. And I think Miles Wood, when we were talking to him, he hated being called the fourth line. He hated that. So I said, well, what impact line? He'll go with that. And they do every shift. But let me ask you guys this. Do we owe Lindy Ruff an apology for the way we treated him after game 2? Right? Let's be honest. Maybe.
Possibly.
Not me, because I defended Lindy Ruff from February on, Chico.
Attaboy, Sam.
Listen, I will say, I did write an article that said how to save your job in 10 days, and it was about Lindy Ruff, because I've never seen a coaching turnaround like this in my...
But it's not a coaching turnaround.
really
Don't
not.
go there.
Okay.
It's not. The team turned around.
Perception turnaround. How about that?
Perception
turnaround.
Because I know how hard
he's
those
doing
guys
the
are
same
working.
thing. Yeah,
They-
he's doing the
exactly.
same thing.
He's doing the same
He's
thing.
doing the same thing. I've never seen a results turnaround. Let's call it
There.
that.
Oh,
A
now we're
results turnaround.
okay.
That's better.
Because for so long, I like Lindy Ruff. I was kind of on the fence because I'm going to admit I wanted Gallant, but I think that there was some chicanery there. Whatever. We don't have to go there. But eventually, I talked myself into it in that first season. We saw a lot of results in that pandemic-shortened season. Last year, he lost every goalie in existence. Chico, I thought you were going to. I thought they were going to have you suit up
Almost,
one day.
Chico.
Yeah, and Bruce.
I thought you were
Might have been
Eva.
you.
Bruce was going to be my backup.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sure.
you're right.
You or Brodeur, one of them. Somebody's
Yeah,
getting
right.
a call. But I do have to say, if there was a sorry Lindy chant that started tonight, I would jump in.
I know.
You kind of have to.
You're
give
fans. I get it, right?
You know
Fans
what?
just
Yeah,
right out there.
It's such a long season, right?
Yeah.
There's peaks and valleys through the season. We're talking about being consistent. You add new players. Yeah, they had a pretty good preseason. Things looked really good in the preseason. Everybody expected them to come out of the gate really fast. and laid a couple eggs early on. But you know what? The team turned around. Like you said, it's not really. You're not laying that on the coach.
No, no.
You're laying on the coach if that thing lasts for a month or so, right?
Right. Would you say this though, Bruce? The only time that I know that it's a coach's fault, a few times the players quit listening to the coach. But I see these guys. They like Lindy. He communicates with them, so I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, and that's it. That's dead bang it. The players will stop playing for the coach they don't like.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We've seen it before.
I was maybe part of it, but yeah, I hate to admit that.
Before,
yeah.
But to jump on that point, the effort was there. Even though those first 2 games where they lost 5-2, they outworked the other team. So there was, that second game, I think it was a 10-year animosity of just
I think so.
vomiting out of our fan base.
Yes.
It was just very.
Yeah, there was a lot of mistakes made in those first 2 games that aren't happening now.
Correct.
They're not happening now.
Yeah.
Cleaned up.
Yeah.
And actually, Bruce, while we have you here, and by the way, we're live from American Whiskey on Game Day Live with Bruce Driver, Nick Villano. Bruce, besides the 5-on-5 play, the special teams have been huge this year. And as someone who was on the power play a lot in your career, what have you seen from Dougie Hamilton on that point, on that PP1, that has just been different this year and making all of the changes necessary to be successful?
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't think it's one player. You don't look at one player because the puck movement and the player movement in the power play is key. I coach youth kids, and I beat them over the head all the time. I said, you have to have net front presence. No kid wants to go and stand in front of the goalie. They don't want to get hit by the puck. But, to Chico's point, Nico was standing right in front of the net in the game-winning goal the other night, and he tried to get out of the way, and it still hit him and went in, right? But you can have the greatest puck movement on the outside of a power play, and you'll see the seam passes that make it through, and the one-timers, the empty net. But most of the goals are scored with having net front presence. So, the thing about Dougie is he's very good at moving the puck, and he's very good at getting his shots through to the net. And you see that pretty consistently, I should say.
One of the interesting things on the power play, Alexander Holtz was supposed to be the right-handed shot on the left power play, but it's Zetterlund's gone there. Yeah. Zetterlund's gone there, and he's got a wicked shot. So, again, we're going back to, and I'm going to hammer this theme, let's not now try to nail it down to one guy. Don't get me wrong, like Dougie Hamilton's the key in the power play. No, he's got a role to shoot the puck like he did. Yeah. But that puck movement, like what Bruce was talking about off the side, the guy in front, right? It's not one line that's carrying this team. I want to keep talking about the group, because that's what they want to talk about in the dressing room. Because you know that, Brucey. Yep. That 95 team had depth just oozing out of it, and everybody contributed. And this team has that possibility. So let's stay with that theme.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree, Chico. Totally agree.
Now, Chico, before we let you go, you're about to go in that arena.
Yes.
I just saw a tweet about ticket sales. There's not a lot available. It's a different kind of mindset from this fan base. They are coming out. They're supporting the team. The arena was loud on Thursday for that Senators game. It was loud. And I want to ask, how does that reverberate? Do the players notice when the arena is loud?
Oh, especially for this group, because they've never won as a group. Remember, Brucey, when we first started winning with the Devils? You noticed the crowd more then because it's something new. But Miles Wood said, the lift I got from the crowd the other night. And then I'm in the crowd, where we're doing the radio from, and they're walking up, and it's like we won the Stanley Cup. The energy coming out of the fans, not just during the game. And there's been moments in the game, like the callback goal against Calgary, I think it was. 2 of them. Mm-hmm. That ignited the crowd, and Maddie said to me, hey, this might get the team going, and it did. My point is, at this juncture, there is a connection between the energy and the noise in the crowd and the players on the ice. It dissipates over time when you get used to it. But right now, it's sort of like we're in the honeymoon period with all this stuff, and that's why we're all just so excited to be a part of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the energy brings it for everybody. Think about even being on the road, Chico. When things are going good and you're on the road and there's noise, that actually helps the visiting team too.
Yeah.
Right?
especially if you're turning the crowd against the home team.
And you pump a couple in the net.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So this is what I don't know. I think this is even a better time. When did we go to the finals? Is that
12.
That was a lot of energy, but this is new energy, right?
Yeah.
We've been just dying for so long. Some of these fans probably weren't a part of that, but now they are, and I don't think this thing's going to run out. I really don't. Brucey and I talked about it. They just got too much character, too much talent, too much drive, the hunger to wanna. Like they're being recognized. They're, you strut around a little. You never had it before. This team never had that. So they're going to run it for a long time, hopefully right into the playoffs.
And Chico, do you have any major predictions for tonight?
I think we're going to be fine. I know what they say, it's a trap game. It's not a trap game because you got 4 lines and 6D loving winning. And I think they're going to come out hard. But that one guy...
Stay out of the penalty box tonight.
Well, yeah, that's true. They got a pretty good
power play.
But Melchuk, though, the goalie, has been stealing. He's won 3 in a row. He stole the game in Long Island. He's a lefty. I don't know if it's Gump Worsley or one of the great old Hall of Famers when, like most goalies, Brucey too, when he played goal, would catch with the left hand, right? But the other guys, the lefties, catch with their right. And they used to use the word, he catches with the silly side. Meaning, and I just chuckled and I use that, but he's a left-hander. I mean, he is the biggest. He's the biggest fear for me, us not winning tonight. That guy's lights out. So other than that, though, I think we'll play a really good game.
Just got to get traffic in front of him, Chico.
Yeah, that too. That too. And you got to move the puck. And and look at their defense. They give up a lot of high-quality scoring chances, and they don't have a lot of scoring. But that being said, just come with that energy, Devils. And I think they will. Tomorrow's a day off, right? Then they go up to Canada again. Imagine they could win every game in Canada this year. Right now they are, right? They're 7-0 against the West. They're dominating the teams out west. So there's a lot of good things happening, but as Bruce said, they got to change the scoreboard. They got to still go to the net. They got to put you in some pucks. Or you don't win. If you don't, only like the Islanders find, if you don't score, can you win a game not scoring? No. I don't. Not yet, anyway. Right? Really. So, thank you guys. It's always good. It's good. Thanks that you allowed me and my old partner here. We go way back to. You were drafted by Colorado, right?
Yes. 81.
Yes,
yeah.
he was.
So he's an original, real original.
Never played for him.
Yeah.
I watched you play.
yes. Well, thank
When I was
goodness
in
you were in
Wisconsin,
Denver.
I came into
In
Denver
Wisconsin. Yes.
To play DU, I came in and watched you guys play one night.
Yes.
Sam was asked about 82, 83, but no, I was winning a national championship that year. So.
Oh, that's
Sorry, Chico.
No, you missed a couple of years.
You were in Duluth.
You couldn't get
Duluth
scarred.
That year. We won it in Duluth that year.
No, it was the next year with Lemieux.
No. 83.
Yeah.
Badgers won in Duluth.
Oh,
We
yeah.
won a
But
national
this was
championship.
82. This
I
is the
know.
first year. No, but we didn't want to lose that year.
Oh, I know.
We did want to lose the year that Mario. And I said, play me. I know how to lose. But they had Ronnie Lowe, who was hungry for a new contract. He's winning games. And, and they kept playing him. And was it last week we finally moved ahead of them. And at that time there was no lottery. Just the worst team got Mario Lemieux. And we just squeaked past and were second worst.
Well, not bad. We got a pretty darn good player.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Kirk Muller.
But Brucey. Okay,
I
I'm
know,
going to
Chico.
No. Kirk was a pretty darn good player. But Mario Lemieux, one of the great, he's a franchise changer.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
But we could have laid an egg and picked a guy that never played a single game, right? How many guys have you seen drafted in the first round that never played a game?
Well, second overall, nah. I'm
There's
just
a few
saying.
here and there.
No, but Mario would have changed the franchise
absolutely.
early on.
No
but
question.
you know what might have happened? There might not have been a Pittsburgh Penguin team because I remember the arena, the seats were broken. They weren't fixing it. There was like 7,000 people. He saved that franchise.
Absolutely.
So it worked out well for the entire league. But for me, to play with Mario, because I didn't play with Gretzky or I played with Bruce Driver. He was just a step below Mario, though. Anyway, thanks, you guys.
Chico Resch. Everybody give Chico Resch a round of
Thank
applause.
you, Chico.
Everybody give him a-
Woo! Let's hear an American whiskey for Glenn Chico Resch. Gonna have him on the radio call in just a little bit with Manny calling this game.
Oh my God.
Arizona Coyotes and the New Jersey Hockey Devils. We got Beer Baron joining us now.
Hey, all
Bruce
right.
Driver's
He's
still here
in.
with
I'm
us.
in. I'm off the bench.
He's got a similar famous facial hair situation, so he's,
Yeah,
just a small downgrade.
Jumping in. You can't fill the shoes of Chico Resch. I mean,
No.
that's
Pretty tough to do
that's
that.
pretty dumb. Yeah,
Pretty
I mean,
tough to do that.
but I'll try my best.
But Bruce, let me ask you now that what is your thoughts about tonight? Chico brought up the goalie. The goalie's 4-0. So there is a little bit of some. I don't want to say trap game because he told me not to say that, but there's a little bit of that going on. You kind of underestimate Arizona, but what is your thoughts with this?
Right.
team?
Yeah. I mean, this is they got to bring it. They got to bring it tonight. They got to bring everything they got. Everybody's talking about the goalies tonight, right? Because you got one guy who's stealing games, you got another guy that stepped in.
Yeah.
On a great stage and did a great job last game to win it. Have us win in overtime, but. Today's another day. So the guys, they got to get back to starting games on time, right?
Yeah.
Start right from the drop of the puck. That's the key.
Can I ask you a question though? When you have a team that's on a winning streak like this, and you have 8 games and you're feeling good, is there a point where you're like, you could feel the pressure of wanting to continue that streak? Or is it just kind of like, hey, just keep it going?
Usually when you're winning like that, you just want to keep it going. It's a lot more difficult, obviously, when you're losing a ton, and then every game's pressure packed to get it back and get it back on track. But when you're winning, you're not even thinking about stuff like that. You're not thinking about, if we don't win today. When things are going good, guys love being at the rink. They love being in the locker room. They'll get there earlier. They want to get back on the ice and, end up playing. They'd rather play every night right now.
Yeah.
The way things are going, right?
And I actually have a question about somebody like Jack Hughes. Now, Jack Hughes he's become almost like the face of the franchise. Well, he is the face of the franchise. Let's face it. You say I don't know, but Nico, yes, of course. But Jack Hughes, if you go to ESPN, is kind of like the poster boy for the Devils. He's still a point per game producer, but he's not putting in goals. He's not doing a lot of the flashy goals like Zegras is doing out in Anaheim. A player like him, do you feel like he's comfortable where he is right now, or do you feel like he's putting more pressure on himself? Like in a winning streak, it feels like almost like he could take that pressure off, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say what he's feeling about not putting the puck in the net, but he generates so many scoring
so
chances.
many, yeah.
He sets up. I mean, you look at another guy. Obviously, it's hard to compare two guys one who's played in the league so many years, one Stanley Cups and one who hasn't. But you look at a guy like Kucherov, right? And the Lightning with Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, he's really a setup guy. You even look across the river, right? They got a guy across the river that does the same thing. So
yeah,
I think Jack is very comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable in the way he's playing. Would he like to score more? Everybody would like to score more.
Of course, yeah.
My old D partner, Dano, would love to score more. And when he scored, they'd blow the roof off the building because it was Dano, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think Jack's frustrated at all about not scoring. It doesn't appear to it the way he's playing, right?
Yeah.
So
he's still producing.
He's still producing. He's out there having fun too. So when you're winning, everything's good.
Let me ask
Hey,
you about
Bruce,
the team in
you
general.
were talking about when you were, as a player in a winning streak and you just want to get to the rink and you just want to play and you're not thinking about it. What is the perspective from a coach when you're on that sort of winning streak?
Yeah.
Well, the coach is feeling the same way. I'm sure we were talking about earlier about the first 2 games, right? And everybody's blaming Lindy Ruff, blaming Lindy Ruff. And all of a sudden, things turn around. But you watch, if you listen to any of his post-game interviews, he's pretty calm.
Yeah.
He's kind of the way the players need to be. Not get too high and not be too low. When things aren't going well, he's obviously the one steering the ship, right? That's the job of the coach. He's the one steering the ship for the team. So for him to stay on an even keel like he has, you're not going to see him get overly excited about this big winning streak. He just wants to keep things on track and keep the guys playing the same way.
So when you look at this team as a whole and just this entire streak, do you feel like, not the streak, but do you feel like this level of play is attainable? Is this a team that can win the Metropolitan Division and be a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference?
Well, it's certainly possible. Again, I keep coming back to the same word, consistency. I mean, you're looking at a guy that I would have never had an NHL career if I wasn't a consistent player. I was not a top flight offensive guy. I wasn't the best defensive guy, but I was good at both defending and creating offense as well. And most coaches knew what they got out of it. And they knew what to expect every game and every night. I mean, that's just the way I prepared. It was my mentality. So that tends to lead to players having more lengthy careers. And that's the key to winning every night, is being consistent night in and night out. And there's going to be nights where the team's going to play great and lose. And there's going to be other games where they play like crap and they win. So that's just part of playing an 82-game season. But trying to stay on an even keel and not get too high and not get too low is really the key.
So let me ask you this, just kind of because of your experience, and there's a lot of similarities in those early 90s Devils teams and what we're looking at now, where you're kind of at this precipice. Was there a moment that you knew that it was different? Like, was there a moment you're like, oh no, this is a competitive team that's going to stay that way? Was there ever a moment you're like, I think we're here, we've arrived?
Yeah, it's hard to really pinpoint. I think going out on the West Coast trip, and playing Calgary, who had such a tremendous last couple of years, and high expectations for them, and to go into their building and win that game the way they won that game, I think was pretty key. And again, I've been there before. We used to go on 2-week-long road trips and usually come back off those trips, and that first game was a disaster. Yeah. Right? You'd usually lose by 4 or 5 goals. I was concerned the way that game started, right?
Yeah.
They come back, play Calgary, outshot, it was like 13-4. Yes, we had 2 goals disallowed, but it didn't look like a very good first period. But immediately second period turned that game right around, right? And that's the key. When a team can do that, when things are not going too well for a period or little spurts, and they can turn it around in game, you're going to see success.
Now, when you see Nico Hischier, you talk about consistency, the way he started the year, and he's, knock on wood, wherever I can find it, knock on wood, he's been healthy. And as a contributor to the team, he's showing that he deserved to be that number 1 overall pick in the year that he was drafted. I feel like his consistency has been great for this team, and I feel like you guys brought it up before, like the lines have changed for him, but that line has been so good. Is there something that you see different in his game, or is it just his approach is just been consistent and just going at it?
I think just
he's healthy.
I think
healthy, yeah. Wow.
Obviously healthy's the number one thing. I mean, that's the number one thing for any athlete. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're not healthy, it's pretty tough to play. I mean, we talk about guys being banged up in the playoffs and playing through pain. That only lasts so long. Like when you're in the playoffs, it's a little bit different because that prize at the end looks pretty big, right?
Yeah.
You're playing for that, and a lot of the aches and pains you don't really feel them. Guys play through a lot, but health certainly is one thing. But I think it's just maturity for him.
Yeah.
And talking about whether he's deserving of being in that position in the draft, I certainly do.
Of course. Yeah.
Even when he first came here, I saw a lot of good things in his game. Obviously not to the level he's playing right now, but you saw in his game bits and pieces of what he could do and his value to this organization. So,
yeah.
And he's showing it now. He's really showing it now.
And you can see he feeds off of what's going on with this team and how he's excited. Like you were talking about before, the players are excited. Their engagement with the fans when they're on the ice. It just feels like this whole experience right now is something that we haven't seen in so long. And it's funny because I was saying to you before, I was just in Disney with my family, right? I'm walking down the middle of Magic Kingdom. I'm wearing a Devils hat. I must have heard, let's go Devils. Like people, hey, 6 in a row, 7 in a row. Like as I'm walking down the street, and I'm like, this is incredible.
Hear, right?
Yeah, good to hear. But you're like, you don't expect it.
Right.
And you come out here and you see the streets and you see the bar, and everybody is excited and the fans are excited. It's so fun to watch. And from your perspective, does this bring back any of those old feelings of when you guys were starting to get everything going and kind of finding yourselves?
It often feels like a freight train, right? Things are going and that thing is just flying down the tracks.
Yep.
And again, it's a long season. So
yeah,
we think about last year. We started pretty well last year. Early on, things were going pretty well. But the difference between last year's team and this year's team, we were winning games coming from behind, which that's a losing environment. You cannot sustain coming from behind to win games consistently in this league or any sport for that matter. So that's the difference between last year and this year. The team has come out of the gate almost every single game and played really well right from the start of the game, right? And that's the difference.
And we're running up to the end, but I wanted to give Scotty one more chance to ask a question for
We
you,
kind of
Bruce.
left Scotty all by himself.
I know. Sorry, Scotty.
No, it's okay. I'm on the other side of the country, so it happens. I'm used to it. You know, Bruce, I just want to say the same thing. It's just, the other night, Tuesday night, I was talking to the king of the sports, to the king of the football calls there, Sam Wu, and I told him that crowd sounded like a crowd. Yeah, it sounded like a crowd from the old Continental Airlines arena. Like this, the intensity, the passion, you could hear the crowd living with that team as they were coming back and as they were playing. So I'm all for this. I love it. But we do score predictions here on Game Day Live. Before we let you go, I was wondering if you had a score prediction for the game today. For the Devils and Coyotes, about to take place here in about 20 minutes.
Do I have
you got a score prediction?
I don't know if I have a score prediction tonight. This is good. It could.
Can't sleep on the Coyotes. They're actually pretty decent.
With the whole goaltending situation, it's who knows. It could be a game where goaltending is a big factor, or it could be a game where goaltending is no factor at all. Time will tell.
He says 4-2.
I don't want to predict
4-2.
He didn't
You're
say
saying
4-2.
Well,
all right.
Saying 4-2 or saying 4-3 or saying 3-2 is kind of the easy way out.
Yeah.
You know what? Like Chico was
way
talking earlier about if you score 4 goals, you're going to win almost every night, and if you give up less than 3 goals, you're going to win it. So you guys do the math there. Figure that one out. Somewhere in between 3-2, 4-3, 4-2, 3-1. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know the
I'm gonna
fans
go
are
with,
going to be into it. It's going to be a packed house. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5-2 Devils today. That's what I'm saying. I'm going with a 5-2 Devils victory.
We'll be happy
brought to you
with
by
that.
BetStamp.app over there. What do you think, Nick? What do you got?
I'll go 2-1. I think every time you
2-1.
think it's going to be like a monumental offensive performance, the goalies come to play. So I think that Akira Schmid is going to kind of be like, oh, is he the goalie of the future? Kind of start that conversation today with a really good performance. And I think the other guy is not going to be too bad. I think the Devils are going to pepper him with shots, pepper him with chances, and eventually get just a couple through.
See, you know what?
I think Holland will get one today.
Oh, that's a big call.
That would be nice.
Sports bet.
Yeah.
Sports bet.
That would be nice.
3-2. Sounds
you
about where it's going to be.
there you
I
go.
can't help it. Right in the middle.
We got
Right in the middle.
We got almost
the only way.
almost a 1-0 shutout over here.
No, wait. The reason why is because the last time on opening night I was like, oh, it's going to be like a 4-0 shutout. I was pumped.
Why would you ever predict 4-0
I don't
on opening
know,
night
because-
after what happened 2 years ago?
Listen, the beer was flowing like wine.
I still got nightmares about Nikita Gusev over here, and you're talking about 4-0 on
Listen.
opening night.
It was a fun. Yeah, I remember that night very well too.
All we're pulling for here is a Devils win.
A Devils win. That's it. That's all that matters.
Doesn't matter how it happens.
Exactly.
Beat the team
9 in
from
a
the
row.
college arena.
Oh, jeez.
That's all I care about.
But
I want to. Do I close or do you close, Sam? You opened.
How about
haven't
you
said
close?
anything.
Let
Okay.
me produce, you close.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, I want to thank Scotty all the way from the other coast, California. Thank you so much. Scotty from Liquid Metal. Make sure you check him out on SiriusXM every
thank you.
day.
Every day.
Every day?
Anytime on the SXM app. You can just
There
look
you
me
go.
up, baby.
Listen to Scotty on the SiriusXM. I can't do this. This
It's
is
okay.
a
It's
terrible
all right.
idea for me to
It's all
close. SiriusXM app. I want to thank Bruce Driver. Thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with Bruce. I want to thank Chico Resch. He's over there. He's getting ready for the game, but he spent some time with us here. I want to thank Beer Baron. He was sipping some IPAs here at
feel good.
American
Feel
Whiskey.
good.
Sam, what's the address?
Yeah.
51 Edison Place across the street from Prudential Center next to Championship Plaza.
And I want to thank
Tip your way.
the Brat Pack for bringing everybody here.
Yeah, Brat
Spending
Pack.
some time with us. This is a great time. This is a packed house in here. The packed house is now in the Prudential Center. So that's going to be it for us. I'm Nick Villano. Make sure you check out pucksandpitchforks.com. We put out content every single day. If you want to write for us, make sure you apply. I'll give everybody a shot. But beyond that, everybody enjoy the game. Let's go Devils. I'm telling you, 2-1 victory. Coming up.
Coming up.
In just 20 minutes.
There you go.
And just remember, Devils After Dark, after the game here at American Whiskey. with me and Scotty at SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Till next time, let's go Devils.
Woo!